Today's the 16th of the 2nd, and this upload today is basically about the ongoing matter that I've expressed with regard to offences from different agencies and establishments that I've contacted ombudsmen and authorities about with regard to assistance and safety that I'm entitled to as a consequence of the wrongdoings that I've experienced. The thing about it is, I've mentioned that I've contacted the Ombudsman, and I've mentioned that I've contacted the authorities with regards to my victim impact statement, and I've clarified and established very clearly the factors that were involved in the offences that I experienced. Funnily enough, I've not received acknowledgement, and funnily enough, there's still defamation of character going on, and funnily enough, there's still an obstruction of justice going on, and funnily enough, there's a continuous violation of privacy and disinformation occurring as well. Now, as I've mentioned, this is all very serious for any survivor of assault to be experiencing. And usually when offences are reported and when there's a request for what is referred to as whistleblower protection, when there's a request submitted to the relevant agencies, then the necessary procedures in ensuring a citizen's safety in society, to live freely, to be able to move freely, and to be able to have their constitutional rights respected, are then safeguarded by such measures. But as I've said, I've been experiencing a very serious obstruction of justice, and I've been experiencing very serious offences from various agencies and establishments that still haven't acknowledged or rectified all the damages and harm and offences that I've experienced. This doesn't just involve myself, this matter also involves others, and I speak on behalf of those people that have also been offended and wronged and abused and violated in this situation. And as regards the other individuals involved in this matter, it's also very serious that their rights be safeguarded and respected also. So the measures involved in safeguarding a citizen's position in society without having their rights disrespected and ignored involve many factors and many concerns. The main issue for me is the requirements that I have for my medical needs to be acknowledged, and for my marital and my professional rights and my legal rights to be acknowledged. This hasn't been happening since I got married in 2015, and since I gave birth in 2015, people have considered it, they've just considered it that they've had free rein to intrude and impose and violate and defame me as a mother and as a professional and as a law-abiding citizen. The violation of privacy that I've experienced is beyond comprehension. People have violated my dwellings, people have trespassed, and people have made false claims, and people have withheld information from me. People have not consulted me with regards to matters that they should have been consulting me about, and basically there's a ream of offences that have been perpetrated by individuals that have no respect for this country's reputation and that have no respect for this country's constitution. So these are adults, these are professionals, and these individuals owe a substantial amount of compensation to a woman whose health they damaged, and to a woman whose reputation they damaged also over 10 years ago, which involved sexual assault and revenge porn. So this is what's been occurring for 15 years in this county, and it's very unusual for authorities and politicians to be ignoring this kind of a circumstance, especially when the offences are against women's rights, children's rights, etc., etc. So the issue of retaliatory offences against victims of hate crime or victims of crime or victims of wrongdoings is an anticipated reaction, and therefore there is the safeguarding measure of whistleblower protection that such victims are entitled to. Now, as I've said, I've submitted my victim impact statement. I've also looked after the other necessities in these kind of situations as a victim, and yet still there has not been the proper measures or procedures practiced in this situation, and the violations and defamation are still continuing. So with regard to information that has been withheld from me, and with regard to research or development or progress that's ever conducted about a person without their consultation, is also another very serious offence, especially when it affects a person's health and well-being and livelihood. So this matter, as I've said, has also involved financial abuse and theft and exploitation, and this also has affected my legal rights being respected. So as a daily documentary and as a daily upload, as a daily diary of these circumstances occurring in Tralee, County Kerry, Ireland, I hope it's making it very clear to the respectable agencies out there and establishments that have regard and ethics and morals for people's rights and people's liberties to ensure that this situation is rectified, because, as I've mentioned, as a law-abiding citizen that has been confined and restricted in a town, Tralee, County Kerry, and whose career as a teacher has been affected, this entire situation is not just morose and morbid, it's very dangerous, because there are people out there doing what they want, saying what they want, stealing what they want, and trespassing and taking without authority, without proper procedures being adhered to, etc., etc., etc. So that's how much of a dangerous situation has been caused in Tralee, County Kerry, simply because of a few power players that have dominated a situation where they've avoided paying what they owe for the damages they've done to my good name, reputation and character, and also for the damages they owe to what was caused for medical harm that I experienced, and my professional career and losses since 2005. So this is how victims of hate crime experience the injustice, discrimination and inequality, etc., of their human rights and constitutional rights being ignored. And this is what authorities and politicians are also ignoring. So I hope the women's aid groups and the female politicians all understand the seriousness of this matter. And I might just add that the spiritual violence that has also been perpetrated kind of adds a more serious aspect and factor to this entire situation. So for today, that's my upload, that's my share, and I would hope that everyone would mind their own minds, and sometimes playing ball isn't always wise when it jeopardizes a country's constitution and reputation.